It's a Sunday morning special. This is a weather briefing for Sunday, the 11th of February. Thought we'd spend a few minutes here and talk about the setup for the next 36 hours. The weather very unsettled here. We have the dual threat of heavy rain at times and a few strong to severe storms along the way. And kind of a complex situation, very conditional in terms of the severe weather threats. So we'll just kind of talk our way through this. We'll begin with current upper air look this morning. And we got a big trough coming into Texas. And in advance of that, a southwest flow aloft and a stalled surface front, or nearly stalled, near Interstate 20. And along the front, we got this big batch of rain this morning, along and just north of that front. And we'll take a look at the single-site radar. And again, you can see the rain that is pushing through parts of central Alabama this morning. There's a little embedded thunder involved here, but again, no severe storms. Don't expect any severe weather problems this morning. The rain is heavy in spots, but just basically kind of a nuisance-type rain. We do note some, looks like a little bit of lightning and thunder down in Bibb County, especially a little east of Centerville and Brent. We're live here at 6:36 on Sunday morning, but not that much in the way of thunder and lightning, just basically a lot of rain. So a wet start to the day. This rain will diminish later this morning, and then we'll see multiple waves of rain and thunderstorms later today, tonight, into tomorrow morning. And it's going to be really hard to prepare the classic timing graphic for you. You know, often we'll have the windows where we have the better chance of severe storms. Just understand what we have the chance of strong storms at any time between about noon today and noon tomorrow, that 24-hour window. It's a fairly muggy, mild morning to start the day. We've got south of the front 60s, and that's warmer than the average high for this date. And again, you can see the front clearly defined here. North of the front, Huntsville 53, south of the front, Montgomery at 65. And the front's just about run out of gas. It's going to stall out near Interstate 20 today. Here's the watch warning map. We have no flash flood watches in effect, but the rain might be heavy in spots. There could be a few isolated flooding problems. West of the state, out of some classic Texas weather in parts of East Texas, a severe thunderstorm watch, and up in the Panhandle and the South Plains, a winter storm warning. That winter storm warning stretches into parts of New Mexico and Oklahoma. Winter weather advisories up through Tulsa towards Springfield, Missouri. And hey, up in the Northeast, winter storm watches from Pennsylvania up to near Boston, as they'll be dealing with a pretty good bit of snow here with this feature. So this is the severe weather outlook in day one. And understand, day one extends through 6 a.m. tomorrow. So this is the outlook through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We have a level 2 out of 5, slight risk of severe storms in the broad zone from Tuscaloosa down to Mobile and Bay Minette, Foley, Gulf Shores. There's 5 levels of risk for the areas in darker green on that map. We have a marginal risk, which is level 1 out of 5, up to Coleman. And the main concern initially will be storms that push into west and southwest Alabama tonight from Mississippi. This is the probabilistic outlook for tornadoes. And you can see that little stretch of brown there. That's where the chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point is 5 to 9%. The areas in green, that's 2 to 4%. But the greater concern for the possibility of an isolated tornado this evening or tonight will be across that part of West Alabama, really south of Tuscaloosa. In the counties highlighted there in brown. And understand that, again, as we go through this, this is very conditional. The amount of instability is very much in question. And then this is after 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, the day 2 outlook. And you can see that most of Alabama is in a level 2 out of 5, slight risk. And again, it's the same thing like we're talking about today, a somewhat conditional threat. This is the probabilistic outlook for tornadoes tomorrow. And again, the higher probabilities are over the brown areas in that zone from Anniston, Oxford, down to Montgomery, Lake Martin, Auburn, Troy, Eufaula, Dothan, Geneva, Enterprise. Again, the chance of a tornado in that brown area is 5 to 9%, and in the green area, 2 to 4% within 25 miles of a given point. And then on Tuesday, everything is gone and not a single thunderstorm expected across the country. So this is the rain for the next 7 days. And understand, this includes the rain with this event today and tomorrow, and the next event, which will be Friday night and Saturday. And amounts for the next 7 days for much of the state in the 2 to 3 inch range. So let's break it down here and look at the timing of this. Model fans, this is the GFS, the 06Z run, valid today at 4. Trough coming into Texas, and again, down below that, we've got the stalled surface boundary near Interstate 20, and we note that surface low that's forming near Houston, and that will be moving northeast along the front. So let's look at this evening at 6 o'clock. This is coming off the high-resolution HER model, high-resolution rapid refresh. And it's just a messy convective pattern. Understand, there is a real chance we get away with no severe storms in the state. But on the other hand, there could be a few severe storms, and if everything lines up, there might be an isolated tornado. Let's look at the instability this evening at 6 o'clock, and you can see there basically is no instability north of Interstate 20 this evening. So really, from Birmingham north, we're not expecting severe weather tonight. South of Interstate 20, yes, there is some instability. This is the STP this evening at 6 o'clock, the significant tornado parameter. And you can see the numbers are elevated over the southern third of Mississippi, along and south of Interstate 20. And so we'll have to watch those storms that form in that zone, the ones that push into southwest Alabama tonight. Those could produce an isolated tornado, and I might suggest that would be perhaps the highest chance of an isolated tornado with this event. This evening or tonight across southwest Alabama. So just be aware of that. Now, this is tomorrow. That surface low is moving up into Kentucky, and it will pull that front northward as a warm front as it does that. And again, we'll take a look at the high-resolution modeling for 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. tomorrow, coming off the HER. And again, you can see just kind of a big mass of rain and storms across the southern half of the state. This is the instability, and we've got some south of a line from near Tuscaloosa down to Auburn. It's 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, but the better shear values are north of the front where there's no instability. It's kind of out of phase. And accordingly, the STP values are not elevated. You see those numbers a lot when we have no tornadoes. So, again, in the morning, it just looks like a big mass of rain and storms. And again, could there be an isolated tornado? Yes. And again, the idea is that it might be later in the morning as we see the instability values rise over the east and southeast part of the state. Again, this is the outlook for tomorrow morning, basically, where those higher probabilities for a tornado would be over east and southeast Alabama. But even there, we stress it is conditional. And again, it's going to be really hard to draw the classic timing graphics because we'll have multiple waves of storms. It's just going to be a messy, wet period here. But once again, if you're just joining us, this is the outlook through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and this is the outlook after 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Heavier storms could produce strong gusty winds. There could be some hail involved, and again, maybe a few isolated tornadoes south of Interstate 20. And the higher chance, I would say, would be this evening and tonight over southwest Alabama, especially in the areas you see in brown on that map. And then on Tuesday, it's out of here. And look at here, that surface low is just to the southeast of Cape Cod, and that's the reason there are winter storm warnings up in there from Pennsylvania to Boston. This could be a pretty big snow, maybe for New York City and Boston. But again, Tuesday, we're cool and dry with highs in the 50s. Wednesday, highs go back in the 60s. We're dry. Thursday, mostly sunny, highs in the 60s. And then Friday, here comes the next wave. We think the day Friday, for the most part, will be dry. That rain comes in here Friday night and Saturday. This is Saturday. And again, a surface low is near Cedar Key, Florida, with just a big rain mass. And yeah, we see the blue in Tennessee, but I don't have the graphic dropped in here, but the European thermal fields are much warmer, and I'm not so sure that happens. But for Alabama, just a lot of rain Friday night and Saturday. Nothing severe. This will be a cool rain with temperatures probably in the 40s over the Tennessee Valley, 50s for the rest of the state. You want to see the surface low north of here for severe storms. And then a week from today, this is Sunday the 18th, that feature is moving on by, and we are in a drier air mass. So let's go out 10 days real quickly. This is Tuesday the 20th. Zonal flow, kind of a ridge over the Gulf, and again, we're nice and quiet. And here's a look at the temperature anomalies on Tuesday the 20th. And again, we just don't see any evidence of really bitterly cold Arctic air across the entire contiguous United States. Up in Canada, yes, and we'll keep an eye on that. And understand we always have cold snaps here in late February and March, but at this point, looks like that cold air is going to be trapped up in Canada. Rain for Birmingham coming off the European ensemble. The mean is up there between 3 and 4 inches between now and the 26th of the month. And here's a look at numbers coming off the NBM, the National Blend of Models. This is for Birmingham. Your number could vary. Look at those upper 60s today and tomorrow. We'll see low 70s in South Alabama. Then we drop to 55 on Tuesday, but we bounce right back in the 60s for the rest of the week. And then we go back in the 50s for the upcoming weekend, but then back to 64 by Wednesday, the 21st. So again, for the next 10 days, there is no evidence of any bitterly cold Arctic air. And this is the latest 8 to 14-day guidance. This is the 18th through the 24th. Temperatures may be a little below average, but again, I know you're seeing all the blizzard minus 20 Fahrenheit forecast, and no, nothing like that for at least the next 10 days. So once again, if you are just joining us live here on Sunday morning, this is the current radar. And again, we're live at 6:46, and you can see just a big old massive rain with a few embedded storms across the central counties of the state near a surface front that is just kind of sagging south, and it's about to stop near Interstate 20. And again, the reason I'm doing this Sunday morning update, that we'll just be watching for the chance of a few strong, maybe severe storms later today, tonight, into tomorrow morning. I would say the main concern, strong gusty winds and hail. There could be an isolated tornado. And again, if you missed the graphics, this is the outlook through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And this is the outlook after 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Most of the state in some type of risk. We think the better chance of any severe storms south of Interstate 20. And really, the main concern will be watching the west and southwest counties this evening and tonight, the areas especially in brown on that map. This is the probabilistic outlook for tornadoes. We'll have a batch of storms over Mississippi in this zone where the STP, the significant tornado parameter, is elevated. This is 6 o'clock this evening. You see the elevated values across Mississippi. They will not be that high over Alabama, but some of the storms could cross the state line, maybe producing an isolated tornado. So as always, just be weather aware, and we will get through the day fine. Be sure you can hear warnings if they're needed. And the baseline, it's a weather radio. And we'll get through this one just fine. So, boy, I got a busy week next week. We'll go through the schedule tomorrow. But I do want to say thanks to everybody for coming by to see us at the Rocket City Weather Fest in Huntsville yesterday. We had a great crowd, amazing time, met some wonderful people, and it was just great. The hospitality was great as always. So thanks to everybody at UAH and everybody for coming by to see us in Huntsville yesterday. We'll do the next update here, most likely the regular time tomorrow morning about 5:15. If you're new here, we typically simulcast these on the James Spann YouTube and Facebook page. Weekday mornings about 5:15, weekday afternoons about 2:45, and then weekends like this as needed. So that's it for the update this morning. We'll have updates on the social platforms. Thank you guys for watching. Have a marvelous Sunday, and God bless.